Let's talk about something I've been afraid to do for years: breast reduction. I'm a life coach. My job is to help people do the things they're scared to do. What have I been scared to do? Get breast reduction. It's something I've thought about for many, many years, and now I'm doing it, and I'm taking you along with me on the ride. Welcome to Unburdened. This is the podcast that takes you through the journey of one woman who made the emotional, nerve-wracking decision at age 51 to go under the knife for smaller breasts. I am sharing with you the real, raw, funny details from pre to post-op and into recovery. I'm going to share with you what it has been really like, not what the surgeon said it would be like. I'm Sasha Cagen. I'm the author of Quirky Alone, a manifesto for uncompromising romantics that came out back in 2004. So I have been supporting people to be their most quirky selves for over 20 years. I'm at work on a memoir called Wet, which is a journey of healing past trauma through an adventure of sensuality in South America. And I do talk about my breasts a fair amount in Wet, and so you will want to get on the list to read that book. I'm a life coach for women 40 plus and the creator of Pussy Walking, a mindfulness practice to help women step into their most badass and radiant selves. My hope is that this podcast will enlighten you, make you laugh. You'll know a little bit more about breasts. I certainly do now. And you'll somehow find yourself moved to do something that you're afraid to do, whatever it is. If you want to stay in touch with me, please be sure to subscribe here and sign up for my newsletter on my website, sashacagen.com. Many of my readers tell me my newsletter is beloved, that they read it in bed like a novel, and it helps them take action on the things that they're afraid to do. So with that, let's get into it. This is the breast surgery reduction podcast with Sasha Cagen. We're just less than 24 hours away from the surgery now. I have decided to make one last video. The nurse from the hospital just called to say that I am to show up at 9:30 a.m., that my mother can be with me in the pre-op for 2 hours, and then the surgery will be 4.5 hours long. So, wow. I am on the brink of having this thing happen, and it all came together so fast, and I hope it all goes well. My greatest concern and my biggest wrinkle with having breast surgery reduction was actually about sensitivity. Those of you who know my work know that I talk about sexuality and sensuality quite a lot. I am a tango dancer. I created something called Pussy Walking. I write about sex. I coach about sex. So sex and sensuality are pretty important things for me. When I thought about getting my breasts reduced, a big question that I had from the get-go was, do I risk losing sensitivity or sensation in my breasts or nipples? I talked about this with both surgeons that I did consults with, and I'm going to tell you about each visit as a way of sharing what I learned. I just want to say, I am really into my breasts. I'm having them reduced, but it doesn't mean that I hate my breasts. My breasts have been a really important part of my sexual life and my identity. Most people who are getting breast surgery reduction talk about being the person with the large chest their whole lives, and that's true for me too. I've had a very mixed relationship with that. I think I really have cherished the fact that by age 51, I got to the place where I can wear my breasts. This is a bra that I got from Bravissimo. Shout out to a very good company that provides undergarments and bathing suits to women, as they say, with large boobs. I don't like the word boobs. I say large breasts. But anyway, I would say that I give myself a big pat on the back, 2 pats on the back, for becoming a person who is comfortable with my body. I want to say it's possible to have arrived at a place where I was comfortable with my body, and also think it could be a good idea to do this reduction surgery because it's going to make me even better. I probably will say, like many people do, I wish I had done this sooner. I had a lot of shame, anxiety, fear, things I didn't do, things I didn't wear, times when I wondered if people were only interested in me because of my breasts, times when I thought I had no value because people were only interested in my breasts, like lots of stuff. It's not easy to have large breasts. I just need to say that. But I'm proud of myself because I kind of made the best of it and exulted in it too. This comes to the important point that we're talking now about sensitivity. I want to have smaller breasts because I think it's going to benefit me in a lot of different ways, but I still want to have sensitive breasts. So I went for a consult with a doctor, a surgeon in Buenos Aires before the pandemic. I was heavier then, and it was getting super, super painful and uncomfortable. I told him about this question I had about will I lose sensitivity, and he kind of made it sound like I would, but that would be offset by the benefit of having smaller breasts. And he said this was good for women's sex lives because then they were less embarrassed of their bodies. This answer perturbed me. He was not the surgeon for me because no, I didn't want to hear about what they looked like or how they felt about their body image. I wanted to hear about how they felt inside their bodies. And this is an aspect of women's sexuality that gets pushed to the side because there's so much concern about how we look and feeling okay with how we look. But no, I want to hear about my sensation. I want to hear about the sensitivity. And he didn't have a good answer for that. I felt like I was talking to a kind of old school guy. And that made me think, no, this is not for me. And I went on my way and I wound up losing 20 pounds. And then I felt okay with it until I didn't. This time, I think I got lucky because when I told him at the consult that I was concerned about sensitivity, he said, that's great that you told me that because that affects the technique that I could use. There are various techniques for breast reduction in terms of the incisions they make and how they go about it. And when I went through the process with him, he assured me in 2 visits that none of his patients have lost sensitivity. The research says that 15 to 20%, something like that, don't quote me, but something around there, lose sensitivity. When I did a poll in the Facebook group that I'm part of for women who have gone through breast reduction surgery, I had 25 responses and about 75% maintained their sensation and 25% lost or gained, could actually become more sensitive to the point that for some people it's even too much. This is one of the risks, and I would say for me, the biggest risk that I'm taking with this surgery. There was a woman who responded on my Facebook post and said she was very disappointed, and it was a great sadness that she had lost sensation in her breasts because that was where she got turned on. I heard that from a few women. So I feel present to the fact that it's a possibility. I also basically believe my surgeon because he's made a good impression on me so far. I made tons of questions for him and he passed them all with flying colors. So I'm believing him that I'm going to be okay. This is going to be a question that may not be answered for a whole year because through the recovery process, the nerves need to reattach and heal. And so it can be a long time before people know how much sensation they have in their nipples and breasts. So that is going to be a moving target. The whole recovery is a moving target. I've learned a lot about it and I'm yet to experience it, but I get that it can be an emotional roller coaster and it takes patience and time and dealing with some pain and discomfort. Most people say it's the best thing they ever did for themselves and they're incredibly enthusiastic. It sounds like plastic surgeons like to do breast reduction surgery because their patients are very happy and they feel like they've made a positive impact on someone's life, kind of how I feel as a life coach. It's nice to have happy clients. It feels good, like you're improving the world somehow. So hopefully this is an improvement. I feel good about it. I feel hopeful about the sensitivity issue. I also feel like I fully reckoned with the possibilities that it might not go how I want. I'm sure I'll be very upset if that happens, but I also believe because I'm such an expert on sensation and sexuality and sensuality that I also think our sensitivity can grow. If something like that happens to me, I'll be curious to work with all the different methods of awareness and stimulation and massage, self-massage, to see what can grow through awareness and attention. Because I know from my own experience, I can feel more pleasure when I focus on pleasure. I'm Sasha Cagen. I'm a life coach for women 40 plus. I'm for the women who want to get clear, who want to do the contemplation they've been pushing down or avoiding, who want to champion to help them move to the next phase of their lives. Come hang out with me and my people. We're friendly and good. We're quirky, and we like the quirky people. If you want to stay in touch with me, please be sure to subscribe here and sign up for my newsletter on my website, sashacagen.com. Many of my readers tell me my newsletter is beloved, that they read it in bed like a novel, and it helps them take action on the things that they're afraid to do.